One more game in our jam-packed slate on this Friday night here at White Bear Lake. The Galvin Court, one more time for the nightcap of the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off day one. Stevens Point, the Panthers, coming in at 1-0, picking up a win this week, going up against the defending Class 4A state champion Hopkins Royals. Hopkins at 2-0, and they hold the record for most state championships in girls basketball. They've got it all to themselves. Mike Peden and Alex Nagel with you one more time. Alex, Hopkins, these last few years, I think we have seen the ingenuity of Tara Starks. She gets a lot out of her players, even though they may not be the headliners like they used to be. A big reason for that, one of the arrivals a year ago, Jaliyah Diggs, her defensive mastery has locked down and foiled many opponents since she put on the Hopkins uniform. Yeah. And then Erma Walker in the post. Ran into foul trouble, actually fouled out with about 9 minutes left against Providence Academy. If she can avoid that and stay in the game, she is a monster to deal with in the low post.
Well, as far as Hopkins, I'm really looking forward to the return of Ava Cupito. I mean, out last year with an injury, now she's back. But you talk about intriguing matchups. We thought we had one the last time with Dowling Catholic and Cretin-Durham Hall. What about this one? Stevens Point and Hopkins? Oh!
Stevens Point has never played in this event before.
I know, that's what...
But they were undefeated in conference, 22-5. Lost, I think, in their regional final. They're a 5A, or Division 5, that's right. In Wisconsin, they go by divisions. But they have a couple of prospects in Leah and Jada Seubert, and they do have a college commit in Lydia Johnson who's going to Bethel. Of course, a big attraction for Stevens Point, at least for some of us, is Janel McCarville, who played her college ball at Minnesota, played a couple of years professionally with the Minnesota Lynx, won a championship back in 2013. So a homecoming for one of the heroes of Minnesota, even if she grew up in Wisconsin.
Right.
But that's okay.
This is just one of those unique matchups that you simply don't get very often, and break out the popcorn, that's all I'm going to say.
Well, there's plenty of it left, I think, in the concessions. Here are the starters. Hopkins the visitors. It's Ava Cupito, back from injury. Ava Smith, Jaliyah Diggs, Erma Walker, and Inara Nesbitt, 4 juniors and a sophomore. Stevens Point, the Panthers will start. Leah Awe, Lydia Johnson, Jada Seubert, Ellie Strong, and Jayla Mabin. McCarville, 3 years as head coach, and Tara Starks took over in the COVID year. Already a couple of state titles. And Tara Starks, of course, her coaching lineage goes way back, was part of Faith Johnson Patterson's staff at Minneapolis North for all those years. Stevens Point on the run. Ellie Strong.
Boy, I tell you what, she had a clear path, and she shot to the basket like...
She came out like a cannon.
Like a cannon. Stevens Point showing a 2-3 zone right from the get-go.
Here comes the Royals. Nesbitt cut off. Awe. Checked up. Stevens Point. They move the ball fast, don't they? Rebound. Awe is fouled. She'll shoot 2.
Well, one thing that head coach Tara Starks will want to do is limit those second and third opportunities.
Awe, just a sophomore.
Boy, she's got some length, too.
And again, already has a bunch of Division I offers, but has a little while before she has to make any commitments. You wonder, for someone like McCarville, who played a lot of posts, she was often called the point post because of her passing ability.
Right.
If she sees the evolution of that position in folks like Awe who can floor it.
Well, if you wanted knowledge and advice to lean on, who better than McCarville?
Another steal for the Panthers. Erma Walker gets the rebound. Look out. That's Ryan, one of our camera ops for tonight.
Seubert took kind of a nasty spill there on the other end, but she's okay.
Another steal, this one by Ellie Strong. Awe, cut off by Walker. That's Seubert with the finish. And Stevens Point off to a quick 6-0 start over the Hopkins Royals. Walker pulls up. Can't get it to go. Awe with the rebound. Alex Awe making an early impression already. Strong. Hopkins had her covered. Well, they still do. That was Nesbitt.
And Nesbitt said,
in.
nuh-uh.
Hopkins was out of position. Nesbitt leaps in the nick of time. There's Cupito. Her brother already getting some early looks in football. Her younger brother, that is. Ava, of course, the daughter of Brian Cupito. Here's a three, and shooting three will be Jaliyah Diggs. If you did not follow Hopkins all that much last year or need a reminder, Jaliyah Diggs, a huge reason for Hopkins claiming another 4A state championship. A lockdown defender, causing a whole bunch of fits against anyone who dares cross her path. Through 2 games this season, Diggs averaging 14.5. Cupito the leading scorer at 19. And that goes back to what Alex was saying, Ava Cupito's return. The fact that Hopkins won without her was impressive enough. And here's an 8th grader, Mariana Davis. I see Amaya Battle again here to scout with one of the Gophers coaches, and Amaya, of course, knows Tara Starks quite well. You think about someone like Amaya. How about her varsity career? She got to work with Brian Cosgriff, the Hall of Famer, and Tara Starks. I can't think of 2 better names. 2 of 3 at the line was Diggs. Awe tried to track down her own miss, couldn't do so. Ryan didn't see the ball roll over to him. He is locked in. Of course, Dowling Catholic will see Hopkins tomorrow, and Stevens Point will play Cretin-Durham Hall. Here is Diggs, used up the dribble and throws it away.
Well, it's a challenge for Hopkins, from what it looks like, for them to get to that first line of defense. They're just to have a chance to do something in the paint.
A little hot potato. There's Ava Cupito. Started her varsity career at Minnehaha, but after Matt Pryor left, as Diggs drills the 3. Ava made the switch to Hopkins. Of course, Matt Pryor knows Tara Starks well. Matt was part of the Metro Stars AAU program. Look out. Another spill. Coming up with it is Jayla Mabin. Straightaway 3 for Ellie Strong.
Oh.
Bullseye.
That didn't even hardly move the net.
That's what you call.
That's about as perfect a 3 as you can shoot.
That's what you call pure with a capital P. Oh, Davis left alone underneath. And Hopkins gets the quick answer, 9-7. Johnson to Mabin. Johnson, the Bethel commit, banks in the fadeaway. Alex, I'd say on the degree of difficulty scale, a fadeaway bank is up there.
Yes. Here's Cupito.
Long 3, too long. Stevens Point will get the ball back. A couple of friends, Jamie Waldo, you may remember her as Jamie Broback. Jim Peterson, who coached McCarville in the 2 years. She was with the Lynx. Peterson was an assistant to Cheryl Reeve for a good while. Awe, one-on-one, beats Walker to the cup.
That's so tough.
Well, Awe and Walker both are high-caliber athletes. We've seen Walker more than once Cupito's 16-footer off the rim. Another scramble and a jump ball. Admittedly, Alex, I thought we might see a few more faces out here with Janel playing a Minnesota team, I think, for the first time. And Hopkins, they're no stranger to playing teams from outside the state. A few years ago, they played a couple of teams outside the area, well outside, when they were featured on ESPN. Oh my, Stevens Point.
Miscommunication there.
Yeah, well, again, it's early. It's the first week of the season for Stevens Point, first week of the season for Hopkins, and as we've been talking about throughout today, and I'll probably say this tomorrow, you're going to see teams a little more sluggish than you will come February and March. You have to remember, everybody getting used to their high school teams again. Jaliyah Diggs can't get the three to fall.
Few too many empty possessions here for Bethel. Or I should say for Hopkins. I don't know where I'm coming from.
Stevens Point breaks the press. Extra pass and the press breaker for Ellie Strong. Well, Alex, I know where you're going. We've covered so many Bethel commits over the last few games. It's stuck in your head. You were telling me about how crazy it is that John Herbricksmeyer is snatching up all of these recruits.
In any event,
foul on the Panthers.
A pretty fast start here, I'd say, by the Panthers from Stevens Point.
It sounds like, based on the uniforms, they embraced the SPASH label. But we have a few schools like that here, too. Stillwater technically is Stillwater area. Roseville is Roseville area. White Bear Lake is White Bear Lake area. Diggs, blocked by Awe. Diggs does give up a few inches. But Hopkins still has it. Diggs with the runner. She will not be denied. Diggs with 7.
Jaliyah Diggs wheeling and dealing there.
Awe, 3 ball. Comes up short. Johnson finds Awe down low. Ooh, Awe too strong. And she had the position.
I think she had to rush that shot a little bit. I think she didn't realize how clear of a pass she had.
Linnea Durant looking for the 3. That's another one that barely touched net.
Right, just like that, the Royals are back to within a single possession here.
15-12. Awe will try again. Bullseye.
That one was true.
Awe, very much that stretch 4 that we hear so much about. Smith to Walker from 15. Can't get the bounce. But there she is, getting after those rebounds. Draws the foul underneath. Alex, that is the quintessential Erma Walker. Doesn't matter if she's not the tallest, she will fight for every last rebound.
I tell you what, she was sure doing that on that last sequence.
I've often said Erma Walker is maybe one of the most underappreciated prospects. And I feel a lot of Hopkins players are. Maybe it's because of what Matt Greenway and Chloe Johnson have been doing. But Hopkins, remember, they were the super team for all those years. And the fact that they've been able to hang with the best in 4A, making finals appearances, winning a couple of titles since Tara Starks took over, speaks to the culture they've established. Here's Cupito, the deep 3. That's off the rim.
Oh, boy. Nasty collision there.
That was Nesbitt and Seubert, and we're going to take a timeout to catch our breath.
Well, and you know, we saw Cupito so far anyway hasn't been able to connect, but I think, you know, as we say and as we've heard so many times, shoot or shoot, and at some point I think she'll start clicking.
Shooters shoot. Of course, Hopkins was tabbed as the favorite in Class 4A, and I certainly can't blame the prognosticators for that. But as we said earlier, Hopkins, they may not go through undefeated. It's awfully hard to do, as we have seen over the years. But you have to think with all of the players that came back, they did lose a couple to graduation a year ago, including Lauren Hilsheim. Right. But with everyone they got back, we talked about cohesiveness earlier. Hopkins, full of it, and they're going to give you a battle.
Yeah.
And we spoke of the lineage Tara Starks had being on the staff at Minneapolis North. Stevens Point turns it over. Alex, here's a fun fact that I learned this summer when I had a chance to connect with Tara for a project I'm doing. Boy. When Tara got her start coaching, one of the first players she ever mentored was Mari Horton, the 1999 Miss Basketball winner out of Minneapolis North.
Every possession is a real battle here.
Hopkins 3-ball off the back of the cylinder. Awe gets the rebound. She's a player who's up for a battle anytime. Mabin inside to Johnson. Awe from the wing. Wants to go in, got her own miss.
Yeah.
That's the second putback for Awe.
Just so strong around the basket.
9 points for Leah, the 6'2 sophomore who's already high on the radar of prospects from Wisconsin. Linnea Durant shoveled her feet.
Hopkins still looking a little bit out of sorts here, Mike. You know, they haven't hit click just yet.
And remember, they had a couple of games already. They played in the Tip-Off Classic, beat Providence Academy, and then beat Eastridge convincingly. Awe gets caught into a traveling scenario.
Showing that she's human too.
Well, so are all of us. Well, except me. I still don't know who I am or what I am. Well, Janel McCarville
Here's
can
Cupito.
speak to that. Pure.
You knew that was going to happen. She almost got the seal there.
Well, remember, Ava's been dealing with some injuries over the last year or so, so you say we knew it was going to happen and like it's second nature, but not unlike Mara Braun or even Paige Beckers, who was out for a couple of years. There's a steal for Durant. What she lacks in height, she makes up for in several other ways. Durant, 5'2". That's Nesbitt. Can't get it to go. Seubert, guarded by Diggs. Panthers up by 5. Seubert launches and buries the 3.
Jada Seubert, my goodness.
Cross-court Cupito, look out. Diggs out of nowhere races in.
I tell you, how impressive was that, coming out of nowhere and grabbing that long rebound.
And then a sloppy pass gives Hopkins another chance. Diggs backs off. Again, they get the full 35. Since it was a live ball turnover. Diggs fakes, and then has her pocket pick. Seubert with a step and the finish. Seubert with 7. 25-17. Cupito not giving up, but has missed her last couple of threes from that spot, the left wing area. Now it's Awe who lost the rock. Hopkins
Oh.
getting into the cookie jar and taking it all for themselves.
All I can say on that is just wow.
All I can say is, can you dig it? Jaliyah will never speak to me again. John may never speak to me again after that. Jaliyah digs up to 11 points. And like we said, she is one of the engines.
Just so dangerous.
Came over from Park Center, and I guess that's our broadcaster's jinx. No, that's all right.
In any event, keeps the Royals within striking distance here as we get closer to the 7.5 mark of this first half.
Seubert, sidearm skip. Johnson couldn't break free. 7:26 left in the first half. This isn't for a state championship, but it certainly has that feel. Then again, almost any big level game with Hopkins does. The Providence game sold out at Southwest Christian. And Awe will sell a dime to Jada Seubert. Seubert up to 10 after that last three.
Look out, here she is again.
Leaps up for the steal and the run out. I can see why a bunch of D1 schools are offering her.
No doubt. Now, if you're Hopkins, you've got to be a bit more precise here with what you're doing.
Ava Cupito.
And that's one
buries
way to
another three.
erase that deficit.
Well, Cupito had a couple of big games already. She is the leading scorer in the early part of the season. I think,
She was right
again,
middle of that mess down there.
for someone like Cupito, like Paige Beckers until she returned, or Mara Braun, or AZ Fudd even, you sometimes forget how talented, how skilled they are when they're forced to be spectators for as long as they did.
Yep.
Paige, of course, a Hopkins graduate and also a part of Tara Stark's AAU program. Nesbitt comes up with a steal. Durant, oh, that was close. Walker has the position down low.
I tell you, what a play there by Erma Walker. Had to stretch to get the ball, that pass that was given to her, and then use her body in a muscle-end position for the shot.
That's
you can't
what
do it any better than that.
That's what Erma Walker does. She is a beast. Like I said, I'm a little surprised she doesn't get more appreciation. Years ago, Maya Naji was an anchor of the post. So was Nunu Aguera. Rebound over to Nesbitt.
And a chance now for Hopkins to creep closer.
Ava Cupito wants the three, but it's short. Rebound.
Yep.
Walker can't get the roll.
They just hung on there so perilously close.
Hopkins going for the steal. Stevens point will go to Awe for three. Offline. Cupito lunging it down court. Can't find Ava Smith. Ellie Strong. Timeout. Stevens point.
I think a
30-24.
well-deserved timeout for everybody involved here, including us.
If you're curious, we've talked a lot about Janel McCarville and her credentials. It's not unusual for WNBA and overseas professionals too to take up coaching jobs later on. Tamika Johnson coached at high school. She now coaches at the college level, but became the second player to play in the WNBA and win a state championship.
Yeah. I mean, the transition for her has been, do I dare say, pretty seamless?
Well, Lindsay Whalen back into coaching with the Lynx.
Yeah.
A little bit of a different story, but with the WNBA approaching 30 years now, and so many players who have come through it, seeing them try their hand at the high school level, we get a lot of publicity when they try coaching at the college level.
Yeah.
At the high school level, you're not getting the headlines like you did before.
Right,
I don't think
right,
Janel's worried about that. But Janel, it's a transition because you're going from her WNBA and overseas career. Now you're mentoring the next generation.
Yep.
I think one thing that helps is for someone like Janel, there's a lot of video out there that you can look up. You can look up her history, her profile. She was part of that Minnesota Final Four run back in 2004 and then won the WNBA championship in 2013 with her longtime compadre, Lindsay Whalen. We'll see here with Stevens Point. But again, it's more of a rarity. It's not unusual for WNBA alumni to take up coaching jobs, but not so much at the high school level. That's not something we see often. Simone Augustus, and now on the staff at LSU. Whoa, Seubert got free and buries the three.
My goodness.
You know what, Alex? Jada Seubert, in a way, reminds me of Mana Greenway. Maybe that's a stretch, but that's the vibe I'm getting. Erma Walker gets the baseline, Jada
I
drop.
tell you, Jada Seubert, she's in the zone right now. You can just see it. You can feel it.
Strong, under duress. The ball pinballs around and will go out of bounds. Over to Hopkins. I also thought of another alumni from the WNBA. She didn't play as long, but Alexis Gray Lawson, you may recall, was the head coach at Como Park for several years. Now is an AD at Oakland Tech. That's Diggs working off the screen and knocking
Nice
down the
there
elbow
from the
jab.
right elbow.
Seubert doubled and fouled.
Okay, that was some tough play when you're getting double teamed like that and getting sandwiched.
Just the second foul on Hopkins, and both fouls have gone against Nesbitt with 4:20 left in the first. Get your jokes out while you can. Awe, guarded by Walker. Needs help. Diggs with the interception.
Good.
And the sprint to the rim.
Goodness gracious.
Jaliyah Diggs, 15 points. Alex, don't look now, but Hopkins doing what they do best, giving others fits.
I tell you.
But a foul, just the third. It is on.
Jaliyah Diggs is one of those rare players with that takeover ability.
Diggs, a big reason for Hopkins and that championship run a year ago. Awe.
Almost got another one.
Instead, Ellie Strong finds a three. No one covering Awe, and that gave her advantageous positioning for the putback. Awe with 11. Now it's Stevens Point trying to give Diggs a taste of her own playbook. But Hopkins breaks through that pressure. Nesbitt offline. Walker and one. Erma Walker, the 6-foot junior. I think it would be criminal, Alex, if a college doesn't pick her up. She may not be the tallest, but she has a nearly unmatched level of determination. No three-point play. Hopkins just 2 of 4. Not a lot of free throws between these two. Seubert, the runner. Oh, my goodness. Seubert can't miss. She's gone crazy. She's gone insane.
I have no words.
This is inconceivable. Walker, extra pass. Davis with the finish. 37-34. Oh, Awe lost the dribble. And Cupito is all by herself. See you later.
Look, here we go again.
Walker with the steal. Cupito wants the three.
Oh,
Walker, rebound and one.
are you kidding me?
Big time, Erma Walker.
Well, I say this game has kind of lived up to its billing. What say you?
I feel like we're in the state tournament again.
No doubt.
Erma Walker gets the three-point play this time. She's up to 9, and Hopkins in front, 39-37. Alex, the bread and butter for Hopkins, though, that full-court press. Brian Cosgriff started that trend. Tara Starks continuing it, but a foul on Durant.
And as we've seen, sometimes he can be a little over-aggressive with that pressure defense.
They're not apologetic about it, though. And more often than not, it pays, it gives, it delivers.
Look out. Here
There's
we go
a sloppy
again.
pass again. And then a carrying call. I will let you decide for yourself.
I saw a smile out there from Jada Seubert. Even she knows this is crazy.
Timeout. Stevens point, 2:14 left.
You keep it up okay?
I think so. Well, you and I, we've been on hand for some epic battles. Providence, Maple Grove a couple years ago.
Oh, sure.
Vikings, Packers, when Adrian Peterson came within 9 yards, breaking Eric Dickerson's rushing record.
Yeah.
We didn't call that one, but I'll never forget the look in your face.
Right.
Well, you and I, we've done a few of these. I suppose now that you have a little more free time, maybe we'll see you at some more games. Well, you'll probably, I'm guessing you'll cover some more MIAC too, now that you have fewer obligations. But wow, you're right. This is just a fun battle. This is why
when Hopkins got into a little bit of trouble, that's when they started applying that pressure defense, and it's paid dividends for them.
Well, Alex, another photo finish. Remember Providence Dowling a couple years ago?
Oh, boy.
So you and I are no strangers to fantastic finishes. Seubert finds her partner in Harper
that
Robinson.
was a great play by Seubert, just making sure that she had that ball and making that pass.
Maybe that Madden Greenway comparison wasn't a stretch after all. Davis with the O-board. The turnaround. Can't get the bounce. There is Erma Walker. The steady Eddie. Uh-oh. Jump ball. And how about that? 3 Panthers come in to help up Durant. Good sportsmanship gesture. But this is a game. And there are things out there. Walker, there is a world out there. Walker getting some instruction from McCarville on the bench. Awe, I should say. There's Walker fighting through 3 jerseys and drawing the foul. That's what I mean, Alex. Erma Walker will give you determination, a work ethic that cannot be regarded lightly.
You know what I'm seeing out here? 2 evenly matched teams, both teams playing at such a high level, and each player they want these players have been through these situations before. They know what a tight game this is, and they want the very best from their opponent. They want to, it's just one of those beautiful situations.
Well, Hopkins, even though they may not be the most recognized team compared to a few years ago, if you're an opponent, getting a win against Hopkins is still good on the resume, so you're going to bring your best game. And for the Royals, Cupito nearly gets the steal. For the Royals, yeah, they're defending state champs. Their legacy unmatched, their legacy in this sport without a doubt emblazoned for all eternity. But you beat a team like Stevens Point that has 2 high-level D1 prospects. Well, hey, that gives you confidence. So there's plenty of motivation in this game, even though you won't see each other in state. Davis. Off it goes. Another pinball. Another jump ball.
Well, what's so cool is, every pass is being contested here, Mike.
Don't tell these two they can't face each other in the state tournament.
Right.
And that's not because they're in separate classes. They're in separate states. Stevens Point Division 5, that is the highest. Hopkins Class 4A, the highest in Minnesota. Seubert, tough shot that time. Approaching 1 minute to go. Hopkins escapes. And a foul, this one on Johnson. Free throws coming for Mariana Davis. And the gym falls silent. This is 1-1 for Davis.
There hasn't been much of that.
Davis averaging 10 points per game as an 8th grader. We'll take the split. Walker back out there for this final minute of play in the first half. Walker mishandled the dribble. Hopkins comes up with the rock. Cupito for 3. Banks it in.
My goodness.
Largest lead of the game for Hopkins. Cupito swarming. Foul. Hopkins had 2 to give.
It's crazy as this game has seemed at times. One thing that Hopkins has done well is that they've stayed out of foul trouble.
That could go a long way. This is Seubert. 15 seconds. That's on the line. Rebound. Walker beats Awe in that battle. 6 on the clock. Davis, 1-on-1. Spin move, up and in. Well, after Hopkins trailed by about 7 or 8, they now lead by 8, 47-39 in a seismic turn of events.
Well, it as we saw, Mike, it took a little bit for Hopkins to break out of their shell, so to speak, to get out of their own way. But once they started figuring a few things out, boy, did they come with a vengeance.
Of course, this game far from over, as both teams looking to etch a statement win to wrap up the month of November. Second half coming your way in the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. Hopkins up by 8.
Women's basketball has been around a long time, and we've had so many opportunities, and now we're just continuing to get more.
Susan Shudley makes a great move. Pass to Linda Shudley.
It comes back to just feeling like you're part of a sorority of women. It's really fun to see. There's a lot of pride.
80s, late 90s, we was pumping out great women's basketball players. And still to this day, we're still there.
We rolling? All right. Mike Peden and Alex Nagel back with you at the Galvin Court, the site of not just a battle, but a war, it seems. Hopkins up 47-39 on Stevens Point. First half numbers, Jaliyah Diggs, 15 points. Erma Walker came alive late in the first. She has 11. So does Ava Cupito, 3 triples. On the Stevens Point side, Jada Seubert, 17. Leah 11. Ellie Strong, 7. But Hopkins getting a little more production from more sources, Alex. That's making the difference so far.
Well, yeah, I think once they started getting their pressure defense going, once Ava Cupito started sinking a few threes, they felt a lot more at home, and they got into a much better groove than what they were from the get-go.
And what's at stake? Just a quality win. Again, Stevens Point from Wisconsin, Stevens Point area to be precise, and Hopkins.
Now it's going to be interesting to see.
Just plain old Hopkins, which is a high standard.
Yeah. But, I mean, now it's going to be interesting to see how the Panthers respond now after having such a good start and having things not go so well for them down the stretch.
Can they contain that pressure defense from the Royals? That is the question. That's always the question. But they had that strong start, and then Hopkins just started getting in their face, as they typically do, and that is when the narrative shifted in their favor. Here's Cupito for 3.
Boy.
1, 2, 3, 4 triples for Cupito. And Diggs gets into the cookie jar once more. Erma Walker will shoot 2.
Picking up right where they left off.
This is why Hopkins, no matter what they look like, no matter who makes up the nucleus of the team, they are one of the most feared and one of the most respected programs in Minnesota girls basketball. That's also the 3rd foul on Jayla Mabin. There were a few, maybe more, who thought the best years were behind them when the likes of Amaya Battle, a Miss Basketball winner, and Maya Naji and Nuno Aguirre graduated. It's still Stevens Point ball.
Stevens Point right now seems like they're caught in a boa constrictor grip. I mean, they just can't get out of the backcourt, it seems like.
Boa constrictor, vice grip. Hopkins giving them no room to breathe.
Hopkins just not giving Stevens Point any room to breathe.
That's what I said a moment ago. Mabin. There's Seubert with the elbow J. Smith in her face. Seubert doesn't care one bit. 19 for Seubert. But Stevens Point, they got some work to do, trailing by 11. Cupito, after some early struggles, finding her form. Awe up on Nesbitt. Cupito looking for the 3. Another tip by Awe. This time it goes to Mabin. But you can't leave those passes. You can't leave those passes in an awkward trajectory like that.
Well, I was just going to say, if Stevens Point can possibly give Hopkins a dose of their own medicine, they might turn the tables here a little bit.
Hopkins, no matter who's on their team, not a group you can commit unforced errors against. They will make you suffer. Now Smith, trapped underneath. Not much she could do there. Awe. Working around. One-on-one with Nesbitt. Seubert not quite in position. And Stevens Point turns it over again. Hopkins will have to get through Wayzata as usual in Section 6. Wayzata bitten by the injury bug more than once. Maple Grove now in the lake. And Minnetonka getting some early plaudits. Erma Walker flips it in from a
so
tough
strong.
angle.
She won't be denied down there.
Erma with 15. Jump ball. Hopkins with the arrow. And I interviewed Erma for a story that I'm hoping to put out there on NSPN and asked Erma briefly about what she thinks if others aren't necessarily giving her the attention. Stevens Point with the arrow, by the way. She said, doesn't bother me. I just go out there and play. Awe fouled. Will they give her the shooting motion? Does not appear so. 15:50 left in the second. Strong. Finds Seubert, 3-ball, corner pocket.
Well, Stevens Point is going to need more of those.
Seubert with 22. Ava Cupito. I bet she was thinking about it. Gets into that wind-up motion to try to draw the defense out. Walker goes in and will shoot 2. I do have an update from Hamlin Alex. Chaska edging Centennial 79-76. Of course, Chaska reached state last year, surprisingly, out of Section 2. Getting through the likes of Minnetonka and Prior Lake, I think, was another one. Erma Walker up to 16. Now 17. 56-44. Awe doubled. Diggs on the run. Short. Loose ball. Seubert's got it. Wedges through a couple. The step through runner. Got it.
She's just magical sometimes.
Cupito almost got that one.
I thought that thing was halfway down.
It looked good. Off the screen, it's strong. Extra pass. Davis sends it out. What a performance from Hopkins. Alex, this is reminiscent of all those games I covered with Paige Beckers. Teams would make a run. Hopkins would find that extra gear, but we still have a long way to go. And that's a big reason why it's those little things, the passing, that Hopkins just hasn't been able to, or I should say Stevens Point hasn't quite mastered at the same level Hopkins has. Again, a couple of their seniors from last year's team playing at North Dakota, Lauren Hilsheim and London Harris. Walker lost it and had the ball snatched away. Stevens Point got to be careful when Hopkins is on top of you like that. Seubert. Pick and roll. Johnson to shoot 2.
Smart play there by Seubert. Looking for the post player down low.
Seubert with 24 points, Johnson with 2. I don't have much information on the first game because Wisconsin, after a change in ownership, using Max Preps after using the WisconsinSports.net, which I found to be one of the best in stat tracking. Hopefully Max Preps will get up there.
Anyway, Lydia Johnson writing those 3 fouls.
The point I'm trying to make is that while I have limited info on Stevens Point, having never seen them before, they are able to hang with Hopkins. I think, again, the key is going to be not succumbing to that press of theirs. That is just the second free throw trip for the Panthers. Johnson up to 4 points, 8-point game. Diggs steps into the 3, off the rim. Davis lost the rebound battle. To Robinson. Awe, guarded by Durant. That's 6-2 on 5-2. Awe drills it from the corner.
All of a sudden, it's a 5-point game.
Awe with 14. McCarville saying, get back there. Hopkins. Diggs trying to thread it underneath. Pass broken up momentarily. They'll reset. Durant. How about that for a matchup, Alex? Durant on Awe. Walker high-low. She'll shoot 2. I still can't fathom it. Durant is going up against an assignment that has an entire foot on her. I guess height doesn't mean anything. Here's Ava Cupito. I should say there's Ava Cupito going to her spot. Here's Erma Walker with 17 points.
Rare miss from her.
Averaging 11 through 2 games. She'll take. Well, I was going to say she'll take the split,
What was
but
that?
a lane violation.
Oh, wow.
Someone jumped the line. So, an empty
Stays a
possession.
5-point game at
Macy Nystrom out there for the first time. Durant gets bumped around, but the screen was legal. A foul before the attack.
Well, they say that cats have 9 lives, and the Panthers have definitely found new life here in this second half.
Extra pass underneath. Johnson.
How about this?
To Robinson. 3-point game. It goes back, Alex, to Stevens' point. If you can contain the Hopkins press, if you don't let it rattle you, there's a good chance you can find a play. Hopkins wants to make you uncomfortable. Durant wants to drill a 3. Her second, 59-53. Seubert in trouble. That's an example of what I was mentioning, Alex. But then Diggs slips up. Seubert, another step through, can't get the finish this time. Davis on the line. Stevens Point will hang on to it.
This is seriously one of the best games I've seen in a long time. Oh, look at that. Yep.
Macy Nystrom went over. And that's what we're talking about. I feel like Stevens Point having a more difficult excursion with these unforced errors. The passing not quite as crisp. You have that situation. Again, you can't let little mistakes come your way against a team like Hopkins as Erma Walker beats Awe to the cup. Walker with 19. Foul on Cupito. And that will be your third.
Only her first foul of the night.
That's her third, I believe, if it's on Cupito.
Oh, I thought that was on Cupito.
It is on Cupito. But that's her third. Cupito's wearing number 3.
Okay, all right. That is her third. Okay, all right. Yep. Well, that's a problem now for Tara Starks.
11:30 to go. Remember, Erma Walker fouled out against Providence Academy, and Hopkins had trouble holding them off. They were able to get the win, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
That wasn't easy either. Lydia Johnson, they incorrectly gave her a 3. It should be a 2. It should be 61-55. Here's Durant. Steps inside. Can't hit the extended elbow J. Awe with the rebound. Score is corrected. Awe. They swing it around. Seubert gets doubled up top. That's a dangerous spot to be in. Extra pass. It's Johnson. Misses the baseline J. Hopkins gets out of a jam. They'll run a set, it appears. Walker into the lane again. She'll shoot 2 more. A year ago, Hopkins played Benilde St. Margaret's to close out this Twin Cities tip-off. I was here for the second night of it, and Hopkins won in a squeaker. Robinson with 3 fouls. And a chance for Walker to add to her totals. Hopkins, their schedule includes De La Salle, Marshall. They'll host Duluth Marshall again. They'll play Lakeville North, Crosby Ironton, and then they go to the Lake portion of the season. They'll also play Orono in the Community Clash. So Hopkins, as usual, scheduling about as tough as you can. They have a few home-and-home series. Eastridge has won, Duluth Marshall. They're going to play Como Park again. But with the Lake Conference adding Maple Grove, St. Michael Albertville taking a step back.
Well, almost
Carey,
carried it. She
yep.
did.
The Wyzetta series, Alex, as always, will be one to watch.
Oh, yeah.
After that, we'll have to see. Durant from Walker. Bullseye. 3 triples for Linnea Durant. Is Hopkins looking to make the finishing move. Blocked by Walker. And she gets it off of Strong, but it was last touched by Walker.
Erma Walker said, I don't think so.
Hopkins, now that we're seeing them at full strength for the first time in a long time, their depth coming into form, into focus. Sloppy pass intercepted by Jaliyah Thornton-Fay. Jaliyah has quite the comeback story. I'll explain in a moment. There she is down low, can't get it. Diggs scrapping for the O-board. And Hopkins will take a timeout. They had all 5, might as well use them. So Jaliyah Thornton-Fay missed effectively 3 years of varsity ball with a laundry list of injuries, conditions. Jaliyah went through a lot. There were some questions as to whether or not she would ever play again. There was some pretty serious knee trouble. But back in the summer, she was able to return to action with her Minnesota Stars AAU team, PJ Hill, her coach. And she's giving it a go at Hopkins after being at Minnetonka for a couple of years. I had a chance to connect with Jaliyah, and she's happy to get one more chance.
Yeah.
I'm working on a story for NSPN, so I have an inside track, but you'll pretty much have to watch it because I can't recite half the things she said in terms of what happened to her knee and the surgical procedures that were required. But athletes are a special kind of stubborn, and I don't mean that negatively, Alex.
Right.
When you're out there, you want to play. So whatever happens with Jaliyah, even if she doesn't score a point, she's a deep bench player right now. The fact that she's seeing varsity time after a series of trials and tribulations is an accomplishment in itself.
Yep, it is. It really is.
Wanted to get that in there. I had a chance to see her play at the Jamboree a couple weeks ago, and we saw glimpses of the Jaliyah that I thought would turn into a bona fide player. Durant looking for the three. Guess who got the rebound? And the putback. Big E Erma. Steal. Erma blocked by Awe. Stevens point ball, but Alex Hopkins.
She's virtually unstoppable right now.
Walker and the Royals ready for that knockout blow. 5-second call. Mabin a little indecisive.
Again, that boa constrictor effect that Hopkins has with that pressure defense.
Again, I would love to see their game with Dowling Catholic tomorrow. Whoops. Walker with a rare overthrow. It was too far. Awe will back up. Can't hit the three. 8:40 to go. Hopkins up 68-55.
And at the as we near the 8:30 mark, time becoming something of a precious commodity for Stevens Point.
Cupito. Fade away. Rebound, Nystrom. Trying to fend off Ava Smith. Can't do it.
Uh-oh, looks like Walker may have hurt herself. Couldn't tell. She came down kind of awkwardly on that ankle. Let's hope she's okay.
That's a big absence. Erma Walker with 23 points. Remember, Alex, Erma Walker fouled out against Providence Academy, and the Lions were able to get within a possession before Hopkins closed out. They're motioning toward Erma's ankle. We'll see how she holds up. Diggs fakes from 15. Too strong. Davis will be out there to help patrol the paint. But a big chance for the Panthers if they can make the most of these possessions. Durant, extra pass. Nesbitt, a little bit of a bump. Davis around and in.
Mariana Davis with the answer there for Hopkins.
Long two. Nystrom sinks it. But I've noticed, Alex, much like Dowling Catholic contained the top threats for Cretin-Durham Hall, Hopkins doing the same. Seubert just 7 points in the second half. Awe with 3. All about adjustments. Diggs, fakes, finds Davis again. Diggs used herself as a decoy. Ellie Strong with a quick sprint down court, but Stevens Point can't afford to trade buckets, trailing by 13. You've got to find a way to get Seubert and Awe involved once more if you're the Panthers. Cupito.
Oh.
Alex, it is a wonderful sight to see Ava Cupito healthy again after dealing with a series of injuries herself. Seubert, touch three, goes over the backboard. Dead ball rebound to Hopkins. Erma trying to walk off that injury. And Alex, there's a possibility that she wouldn't be available for their game tomorrow with Dowling Catholic, and that would change the dynamic considerably.
Yeah.
But their depth on full display as Anara Nesbitt trains the elbow J. 76-59, and Hopkins looks like they're going to have this one wrapped up as we have a foul after a collision. It's on Harper Robinson, her fourth.
Janel McCarville wanting an explanation there.
Durant to Cupito. Hopkins can close this up if they can score here, and they'll have a chance to do so at the line. For what it's worth, in the breakdown, all of their crew, most of them anyway, picked Hopkins to win it all. There was one vote for Minnetonka. Alex, I'll see Minnetonka tomorrow, but based on who's coming back, we'll have to see how serious Erma Walker's injury is, but I'm thinking Hopkins is going to be maybe a bigger favorite than I anticipated. Diggs makes both free throws. She's got 17. The dynamic difference maker. There's Awe on the take. That puts her up to 16, but with 5 minutes to go, trailing by 17, a lot would have to go the way of the Panthers. And the rest of Hopkins stepping up in the absence of Walker. Offensive foul. And again, Cupito this time on top of Nystrom.
You know, once Hopkins started applying that pressure defense and they started getting points out of it, that's when they started smelling blood. And that's been the difference in this game, Mike.
4:47 left in the second. Hopkins, Cupito, Davis. Can't get the bounce. Stevens Point ball. Stevens Point gets past the press. Awe knocks down the three. 19 for Awe. But you're still looking at a 14-point deficit. Another offensive foul. Diggs with the push-off. Strong may have sold it a bit, but you couldn't deny the push-off on Diggs. And that's the last foul to give for Hopkins. So both teams will be in the bonus for the remainder of this game. Just a second foul on Diggs, but a couple of turnovers as a result of offensive fouls. That was a tough drive for Ellie Strong.
Well, it was pushing 20. That lead was pushing 20. It's been shrunk down to 12.
Does Stevens Point have one last gasp? Durant out to Cupito. The sharpshooter working the clock. Run as much time off as you can. Diggs, bounce pass to Davis. Blocked. Seubert. Ava in there as well. That's not easy to do. Diggs, 2 to shoot. She's got to go. She doesn't see it. Diggs didn't see the clock, Alex.
Wasn't aware of what was left on the shot clock, so the door's still partially open here for the Panthers.
But Stevens Point still has a ways to go.
Oh boy.
Cupito sneaks up for the steal and the layup. Ava Cupito with 18. Another takeaway. Davis with the knockout blow. That should be the finisher. Seubert fires a three. It's offline. Johnson will shoot two after the foul on Davis. Alex, again, the depth for Hopkins. Maybe rivals to a degree what we saw a few years ago when they had that starting lineup of D1 commits.
Yeah.
And they just meshed together so well. This is Lydia Johnson. Stevens Point, they played well, but just could not counter the pressure against Hopkins, especially in the second half. (82-66). Cupito, one more. Too strong. Awe with the rebound. Wants to take it in herself, and she'll shoot two. Well, this does give Stevens Point a chance to score with the clock stopped. And that is the fourth on Cupito. And remember, Erma Walker, I'm not sure she'll be able to return. She was trying to shake off the injury, and I haven't seen her
No, I haven't. No,
on the
I know.
bench since she tweaked the ankle. Awe will split at the line. That gives her 20. But again, second half, maybe not as explosive. I just don't think there's enough time. There's a foul on Ellie Strong. That will send Diggs to the line. Alex, take your pick on the impact player for Hopkins. So there's Walker on the bench, still working on her left leg. As Diggs will add a couple more. Jaliyah, the junior. One of several from the Park Center stable. Davis almost at it. But Diggs started at Park Center, then Tyler Coley stepped down. A lot of those players dispersed. Some went to De La Salle, some to Minnehaha. Here's a deep three that won't go down for Ellie Strong. Davis on the other end. Alex Mariana Davis with 15 off the bench. And as an 8th grader, you have to think she's got a bright future. Always short on the runner, got her own miss. Foul by Davis, she'll shoot 2. Well, Alex, if there's any good news, it doesn't look like Walker's injury is serious enough to sideline her for long. And I think even better news is how well Hopkins responded in her absence against Providence Academy. They looked a little lost at times.
Well, especially
against
Mariana Davis coming off the bench and doing what she's done over the last few minutes.
And Ava Cupito, again, we're seeing Ava Cupito in full form after her prep career was derailed by injuries.
Yep.
Remember, she hit a buzzer beater as a 7th grader, if I recall, to win bronze for Minnehaha Academy when she was part of their ranks. Well, Alex, this won't be the photo finish, but we will get a photo-worthy run by Mariana Davis. Alex, that post tandem for Hopkins is going to be a scary sight to deal with. Timeout, Stevens Point. But this game, a done deal.
Well, if you're Tara Starks, you've got to feel good about what you've seen from Mariana Davis. You know, stepping in after Erma Walker had to go to the bench with that injury. I mean, they haven't missed a beat.
Davis, 17 off the bench.
And that's pretty impressive.
Diggs, 17. Erma Walker, 23. And Davis, again, was averaging 10 points through the first 2, so it's not like Davis came out of nowhere.
Right.
But with that kind of depth, Alex, that's why I was saying Hopkins, to a degree, rebuilding their ranks. I know I was talking with a few folks around town who wondered, how would Hopkins progress? Would they have the numbers? Would they have the pipeline that they once did? And while it's still early, based on what we saw a year ago, based on what we're seeing so far this year, Hopkins about to go to 3-0, that answer may be a resounding yes. And much like Paige Beckers, and Nia Hawley, 2 Miss Basketball winners. Amaya Battle, part of that group. Nia Coffey, still in the WNBA. This group may serve as the next generation. Here's Jaliyah Thornton-Fay. She'll shoot 2. This group might serve as the next generation that continues the tradition of excellence. Nunu Aguera having a great run at Stanford. Amaya Battle, not too shabby at Minnesota.
Yep.
Elena Contreras playing D1. Leslie Knight was one of the architects going way back. Also a Minnesota graduate, a teammate of McCarville's for a year. No free throws for Jaliyah Thornton-Fay, but Davis gets the rebound. I don't know how familiar this Hopkins team is with the history of their predecessors and what they all did for this program, but they are well on their way to building their own legacy as Thornton-Fay finds Amari Johnson for the icing on the cake. Hopkins with 90. Alex, this turned into another typical display of what makes Hopkins such a feared team. More often than not, in the big games, they come through. A couple of years they stumbled in the championship, once to St. Michael Laverville, once to Minnetonka, but they reclaimed the throne last year. And I think there's a chance, a good one, if not great, they'll do so again. On the subject of adjustments, Alex, withstanding that early run, here's Jaliyah Thornton-Fay who gets the layup. So Jaliyah Thornton-Fay, and then an offensive foul, gets on the board. Hopefully more highlights of that nature come her way, but there really is a lot to root for on this Hopkins team, Alex. What a showcase they put on in the second half. Really, after going down early, they turned the tide, and Stevens Point got within 3, but Hopkins channeled their inner beast, as they've done so many times before. And they'll go to 3-0, 92-69 the final. Alex, it's an old saying, but I think it fits. Hopkins picking up where they left off.
No, I think you're pretty much spot on. And again, I can just only go back to when they started getting points with that pressure defense. That's when they got into their groove, and they were going to be pretty hard to stop from that point on.
So that concludes the first day of the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off, but we'll try to get a word with the Hopkins player or two before we call it a day, as they go to 3-0 with a 92-69 win over Stevens Point. Joining me is Ava Cupito and Mariana Davis from Hopkins. Ava, we'll start with you because your recent history has suffered a lot of setbacks, and not unlike Paige Beckers or AZ Fudd, sometimes when you're out of the game for a while, people forget just what exactly you can do. I think it's safe to say you haven't lost a step. You hit some big-time threes tonight. How exciting is it to get back out there and to have an active role after being a spectator for most of last season?
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, for sure, it's great to be back. I mean, I'm happy to be back with these teammates, these coaches. They believe in me through my injuries, and I'm just happy to be back with them and winning and playing. So, yeah.
Take us through this game, because it was back and forth. Stevens Point got the early jump, but then Hopkins applied that patented pressure defense that is so brutal to everyone else to give you the runaway. When did you feel you had the game in your control?
Yeah, I think we started off slow, and then once we all clicked and just really put in that extra effort, that's when everything started going well and started flowing for our team. So I think it started with defense, and then we started hitting big shots. Mari, Baby Shark.
Baby Shark?
She started running the court, and we were just hitting her, so she stepped up big for us tonight, for sure.
So did Erma Walker, until I think she tweaked her ankle. Yeah. Doesn't look too serious, but it was enough to take her out of the game. The last time she went out, Providence gave you a run. What do you think helped this time? Because Hopkins looked like they didn't miss a beat when Erma had to sit out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's great when we have Erma on the court, but, you know, things happen, and I think people stepped up, like Mari, for example, kind of her position. So I think having people off the bench come up and do great really helps us when people are down.
Mari, I'll get to you in a moment, but Ava, I wanted to talk to you about how you developed that sharpshooting technique, because we saw glimpses of it. I remember covering you in Minnehaha Academy. You hit a 3, I think, to win bronze one year at the state tournament. How have you developed that shot over the years?
Yeah, I would just say staying consistent and believing yourself. I mean, there's times you don't want to do it, but you just got to push through those days and believe in yourself and be consistent for sure.
Mariana, I'm curious, did folks like Ava give you advice? Because Ava played varsity at an early age. You've come in and have played a big role, 17 off the bench, and it's not like it came out of nowhere, but do folks like Ava give you the guidance you need to flourish like you do?
Yeah, basically like the captains and like everybody else helping me out. If I'm like not playing my best, they still pick me up and like, you know, help me motivate myself to still do what I do.
How do you approach the game? Again, Erma had to leave with the ankle injury, but even before then, we saw glimpses of your ability to finish. I'm like, are you just a clone of Erma Walker, maybe slightly taller, but how do you go into the game and contribute like you have already?
Well, really, I just think about what I bring to the table and, like, you know, play hard and do my part, what I bring, and if Erma's not in the game, I know I can do her a favor, help her out too if she's hurt or gets fouled out, like in Providence. I just really like to do my part and everything.
We've got a crowd forming up here. I think are those your family members, Mariana? Yeah. Where did the Baby Shark nickname? What's the origin? Oh, baby.
I call her Baby Shark because she's still young, but they call her Shark.
At this rate, I might call you Jaws. But seriously, in a game like this where you were able to help Hopkins pull away, what do you think that says about your confidence early on and how you can contribute to this team? Because the sight of you and Erma together down low makes me scared to face either of you. I'm glad I don't have to play, but the two of you forming up the way you do, how have you been able to adapt so quickly?
I don't think answer for her. I think both of them just push each other extremely hard at practice, and I think Erma's done a great job leading her just as being young. Erma's been a great leader for her, and I think they've just kind of grown chemistry already, and the season just started, so I'm excited to see what the future holds for them.
Well, I've got a suggestion. If Mariana's the baby shark, I think Erma is the mama shark.
Yeah.
That's why Mariana does so well.
I'm calling her that.
All right. Well, sorry, Erma. I think we gave you a new nickname. Any other fun facts about the two of you that you'd like to share?
I like TikTok. That's it.
You probably call her. You probably
we
started
make
Baby
TikToks.
Shark.
That's
You
how
probably
our
started the
chemistry
Baby Shark
Yeah,
on
yeah.
TikTok, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
What about you, Mariana?
I do TikToks. I do TikToks too. We're doing it together, yeah.
Do you have a favorite animal?
A dog. A dog.
Well, you've got some time. We'll think about it, and then next time I talk to you, you'll have an answer, right?
I got you.
Before we go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Hi, Mom. I love you.
Hey, Mom. Love you.
Thanks.
Hi, Mom, and hi to everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Congrats on the win, 3-0, and we'll see if it leads to another state run. I know that's a long ways away, but you're off to a really good start. And, again, I think it is fun to see what this team at full strength looks like. We saw what they could do last year, and with everybody healthy, who knows? So enjoy this ride and enjoy this evening.
Thank you.
Ava Cupito and Mariana Davis, and that will wrap up our coverage from the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. For the rest of the crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching.